Hello tubers, it's Robert 28 1979. Well, I guess what I got in the shop today. There's the hood upside down. Yeah, it is the green yard machine that I bought a couple weeks ago. I got the tire remounted, got them all aired up. You see all that nasty stuff under it? Yeah, that's water. I took the spark plug out. That's what came out. This thing was flooded. So what it is, I went in, took the carburetor off, cleaned it up. Actually took the top, this breather cover here, I took it off of that little Toro right over there. That guy. What's the story on that? The other one is missing in action. A buddy of mine come and got some parts off of it. He ain't brought it back. But that plan has been changed. I'm not going to make that mini road grader now. I'm actually just going to haul those off and get rid of them. I just ain't got time and really just don't have the funds for that project right now. So but back to this one. Like I said, I took the carburetor off, went through it, totally cleaned it up, cleaned it out. Didn't get any video of that because I've been waiting for this battery to charge up for my dang camera. It's just, I don't know, it shows 55 minutes of run time and the other time it shows 101. I don't know what the deal is. But you see, I got power washed it, some of it. Still got to do some more, but cleaned the carb out, cleaned all the intake out of it, took the spark plug out. It was full of water, spun it over by hand, got most of the water out, and then I hooked the battery charger to it, which you can hear running in the background over there, and cranked it over, spit all that water out, and I took a bunch of carburetor cleaner and sprayed through that carburetor into that cylinder to kind of help mixture with and dry all the water out. And after I did that, I put a new spark plug in it, tried to start it up, and it was backfiring through the carb and everything else. So I took the valve cover off. Lo and behold, the exhaust valve was stuck open. The trick I use on that, which I'll explain to you, if anybody's ever had this cover off, they'll know what I'm talking about, is I take and spray some WD-40 right on top of that valve stem, and take a flathead screwdriver, pry against the side right here, and that spring is pried back till it pops. And then I'll take a hammer, you know, like that little framing hammer there, or I've got another little body work hammer I use, and just kind of tap on that end of that valve. I'll take the rocker loose and all that other stuff, get all that out of the way. Just kind of tap on that valve a little bit. And once it starts spring action, then you take your finger and push on it. It's pretty tight, pretty hard, but you can do it. And then start working it, and then put it all back together. Make sure you set your gap right. Which on mine, normally I won't use a filler gauge to gap them. I'll take, it takes a T25 to loosen the screw in the center loose, and I'll turn that nut by finger till it gets about finger tight, and then I'll tighten that set screw back down on it, and that normally gets it right about within range. The reason I do it that way is I don't have it purged in my memory what they're supposed to be set at. So I do it that way. I do the intake and exhaust both the same way, and it runs just fine doing it that way. Because some people, you know, the do-it-yourself guys just may not have a set of feeler gauges to check them. That's the easiest way of doing it. Another easy way of setting your coil against your flywheel is use a business card. I've had a couple people ask me how do I gap all that, because you know, I just use a business card and then turn the flywheel and pull the business card out. But anyway, I got that done, got it all rechecked. Threw me a little carburetor cleaner into the carburetor, cranked her over, and she fired up and ran like a top. So what I'm doing now is I went and picked up an inline fuel filter. So I'm gonna take the rest of that crappy hose off. I'm gonna pull it off from the bottom of the fuel tank and replace the fuel line. I'm gonna put this in, run a little stub piece of fuel line, and then I'm going to put a fuel shutoff switch in it. This is one I had laying around here, compliments of the little Toro outside. Normally I use the black plastic ones you buy at Tractor Supply. You can buy them at O'Reilly's. Any auto part store will have them pretty well much. The fuel shutoff solenoid here, I took it off when I took the carburetor apart, and it was frozen in the open position. Easiest way to get that unstuck is pull a little rubber off the top, put the rod itself in a vise if you got one like that, or a small vise or whatever, or you can even use a pair of vise grips, and just easily try to pull back on that thing. Just kind of work it a little bit as you're doing it. It's kind of a weird motion, you know, but you'll eventually get it to move, and when you do, if you got any carburetor cleaner or anything like that, spray into it, and I guarantee you'll get some cruddy crumbs out of there, some either badly lacquered fuel residue, or like this one that had a bunch of rust nasty come out, which you see all over my vise here because I turned it upside down, tapped on it, and you just keep working it until it'll actually spring back out. And once you do that, spray something in to clean it all out again. Did it a couple times. Then take you some WD-40 or PB Blaster or whatever you want to use. You know, fluid film. I've seen that on YouTube. Spray some of that down off beside that little stem that comes up. Just kind of lubricate it. Now once you put fuel to it, it will fill back full of fuel, and that lubricant you put in there will eventually break down and work its way back out, which is fine. But once it's lubricated and working again, then you're back in good shape. Now with those, they are notoriously known to stick. Sometimes they'll stick closed, sometimes they'll stick on the open position. My resolve to that issue is I always put a fuel cutoff switch within the fuel line itself, and when I'm through running the mower or mowing or whatever I'm doing, I'll turn the fuel switch off and let this thing run until it dies on its own, and that way I know there's no more gas inside that carburetor. Now yes, there's still going to be some gas down inside the solenoid. You can't do nothing about that unless you take it loose, turn it upside down, knock it all out. But they also have, you can buy at Walmart or anywhere else, it's ethanol, lost train of thought there. It's a fuel treatment for ethanol. It stabilizes the ethanol in the fuel and prevents it from causing these issues. Now this does happen not only on lawnmowers and small engine stuff. The ethanol that we got in our fuel now, it's even bad on like Chevrolet Vortec motors. The intake gaskets are plastic. Ford, same thing, they got plastic intake gaskets. That ethanol will break that plastic down and cause it to turn to kind of a mush, and eat your gaskets, cause your gaskets to flatten, and you get intake leaks, stuff like that. Ethanol is not good. You know, it's probably the miracle to help cost on fuel. Bull crap. I'm not going to go into any more of that because that's just leads back into another deal as far as like the GM company with their pulling and the crap that they've done. I'm a big Chevy fan. After what I hear, I'll still buy Chevrolet and GM products, but they're going to be used. I will never buy anything new from them, ever. If I buy a new vehicle, I'll buy from Ford. I'm damn sure not going to buy a Dodge. But, you know, Cummins is a good motor. The first gen, second gen Cummins are real good motors. The new stuff I don't like, just because they changed for the DPF crap, but that's another story for another time. Back onto this. I said I'm fixing to replace the fuel line, put the filter on, the fuel cutoff valve, all that good jazz. Put the front end back on, which anybody that's owned a yard machine riding mower, y'all know that they're notorious for these front plastic nose cones to break. Well, I have a solution for it. What I do is take this bolt loose, which you can see has already been replaced. Take that back bolt loose on both sides. I'll take a bracket like this, this bracket came from a running board set for a vehicle. I'll put it in my vise and I'll twist it back straight, hammer it all nice, flat and straight. I've got a few of these left, and what I do is I get it set where I want it. So then this piece right here will come on the outside of that nose cone, and you can screw through the front of it with a little bolt. But it'll sit on there about like that. You know, of course it'll be flat. And that way your nose cone will sit right here on here, and this will bolt through the front, and that'll hold it back in place. You don't have to worry about it. The other things I normally do, depending on if it's a customer machine or whatever, I'll come off here, punch a couple holes here, come off of the bracket, and then I'll build a little push guard for the front of them. Wind open my door here like that. And that gives you a little extra added protection for those nose cones. Because a lot of times they break because you hit something. Or, you know, something along them lines. So that's just my kind of cure to that problem element. Or, not a cure, a fix to it. Another common issue I see with these things is this right here. Your headlight wires, they come in contact with the exhaust pipe. It's almost inevitable. Almost every one of these I work on or buy or something has this issue. Well, unfortunately I don't have another one. This one is different. It's got the different plug on the end of it versus this one. So what I'm going to have to do is cut this one off, cut that plug off and attach this one to that one, do a solder joint on them, and cover them up. And then I'll run them a little bit different for the rest of the deal there. So, but I figured I'd get started on this, get it done, get it out of here. Once I get all that problem issue, get it started and running, I'll check, make sure it mows and everything. Put bolts back in the fender. Somebody pulled the bolts out there. I don't know why. The kid that I got it from told me they were going to make a go-kart of it or something. I don't know. But I'm going to get bolts there, get the front end all bolted on. I'll bracket it back up, the whole 9 yards, get all that finished up. Eliminate these wires coming out of the dash. I haven't a clue what the heck they were for. I'm guessing the way they wired it all through and everything. I'm guessing a toggle switch for lights or something. I don't know. There's no plugs running out anywhere else, anywhere. So, I don't know. But another issue you'll come across, trying to start these motors while the seat's up without sitting on it. There's two common methods I use. One method is it's hard, but you can pull these wires off the bottom and just run your jumper wire. We're going to do like I did. Take you a piece of weed eater line or a hose. You know, this actually came off of a carburetor cleaner can, same as a WD-40. You got a little tube. Just bend it over, push it through the spot, and it keeps the gaps open and allows the circuit to flow. It don't ground the circuit, and you can start it with the seat up. A lot of people just unplug them, put a bypass wire, and be done, and never hook them back up, never use them. I've done that on all kind of things, you know. The sensor for this, which this one you have to pull back on when you start it. It's just wore down. I've bypassed that switch. I'm not doing it on this machine. What I'm actually going to do is come in there and weld the tab in to that slot. When you pull back, this has just enough space to slide in and lock back in. That way the switch is pushed and it'll start. But more or less when it's all said and done and this thing's ready to rock and roll, it's going out by the road with the for sale sign on it. I'm also going to post it on Craigslist locally and see if I can get rid of it. I'm going to put a price tag on this thing for $200. I mean, You'll see the same exact similar ones on Craigslist for $450, $500. You put it on there for $200, $250, and it sells pretty quick. People look, oh well, it's the same as this one. They think they're getting a pretty good deal, which they are, and they'll buy it from you. So, yeah, it's a little cheap on the price, but it moves them quick. I'm not one to kind of sit here and hold on to stuff. If I buy something like this to fix, I flip them. I want to move them as quick as I can. The faster, the better. The longer they sit here, the less profit you're really making. But I ain't gonna get started. I'll do another video on that here in a minute. But anyways, that's where I'm at doing today. I may even be looking into possibly doing kind of like a live feed whenever I start working on that Ford right out there. I got to pull the oil pan off that, replace the oil pump, the low pressure oil pump. So I may do a live show on that one. I'm not sure just yet, but I might. Oh, and then once I get it done, I get paid, I'll get this one finished up. He can come put his signs on it. I told him he can park it out in the corner of my yard there with for sale signs on it, try to get rid of it. There's a 2003 F-150 V6 5-speed standard 2-wheel drive. I believe he's going to be advertising it for $3,000, and turn around, he told me he'd take $2,500 cash for it. So if anybody locally watching my videos or anybody looking for a good truck, I think it's only got like 160 something thousand miles on it, I believe. Maybe 180 something thousand, I'm not sure. I have to look at it again, but it's a good truck. Starts and runs real good. He's had no issues except for the slave cylinder is bad, so I got to replace that. So if anybody out there is needing a truck, you know, you're close or it's worth that a long drive to come buy it, shoot me a message and I'll get with him or give you his number or whatever, and y'all can talk and do the dance. The green and white truck, I talked to him, and once I fix it, it's going up for sale. I don't know what he wants. I said it's a 94 F350 7.3 Power Stroke. It's got 100 something thousand. I think it's 188,000 is on it, I believe. I might have them backwards unless he trucks, I can't remember, but same thing there. If anybody's interested, it's only 2-wheel drive, it's automatic. The only other issue besides the low oil pressure pump is the window regulator on the driver's side. It'll roll down, but you have to help it go back up. But anyway, that's just kind of what I got going. I said I'll get some other video once I get done with all this stuff and get it running off. Pop the camera back on and get a video of it running and the whole good jazz. And then I'll come out with my other camera, take some pictures and get her posted on Craigslist and try to get her going. So anyway, if you ain't subscribed, subscribe, rate my videos, comment, let me know what y'all guys think. So until the next video, y'all guys have a good one.